I have to say that when we first moved into this building back in, 1996, it was already pretty well known in town, from what I understand, that there were hauntings, if you will, of the building. And to a degree, it makes sense. It's a very old building. Parts of it go back to the mid-1830s. The part that we're in up here is actually an 1892 edition, the third floor. And so there were whole generations that were born and died in this building, but additionally, for nearly 100 years, it was a mortuary. And during our renovation, which went on from 1998 until the year 2000, there were workmen, and we're talking, big burly workmen, who would not go through certain parts of the museum unless they were escorted. They were scared to go through it. And we've heard the voices of children. We've had a number of both guests and staff members who have seen an image of a woman dressed in a gray, long 19th century kind of a dress back by the library on the third floor. Recently, several of my employees commented to one of my coworkers, Nikki, back in the back there, that they had seen a man walk into her office and turn off the light. Well, there's only one way in and out of her office, and they never saw him reappear, and there was no one in there. We've had things like that. Probably the most common thing that happens, generally, if I'm the first one in the morning, when I walk up the ramp from our general hospital exhibit up towards the front of the building, you can actually hear footsteps on the ramp 8 to 10 feet behind you. And we've had at least 2 instances where figures have appeared on our surveillance cameras and then disappeared in that very same area. Appears to be a gentleman in light-colored clothing with a light-colored hat on his head. People who say they have bad feelings right outside of the elevator. For the most part, nothing terrible. They just kind of feel a bit uneasy. There are a number of things like this, and we've had we've had several of our guests actually leave the building and say, I didn't know when I came in here this place was haunted. And we always ask them their experiences, and generally it's just that they felt something or saw something. We have people feel like they brushed up against something only to turn around and there was nothing there. And even one of our curators back in the collection room was talking about ghosts, and his wife said, I don't believe in that stuff, and she felt a push on her shoulder thinking it was her husband making fun of her. She found out her husband was on the other side of the room and no one was standing near her. So it's an interesting place to work. Like I said, nothing malevolent, but certainly if you're attuned to that kind of thing, there are a number of places in this building where you will feel the presence of something you can't explain.